Yes, I do know of someone with autism. Yeah, I have family friends that children that are autistic, and one of my ex-boyfriends was autistic. So.
Yeah, I do know someone with autism.
I can't say I do know anyone with autism.
Oh, I used to volunteer at a respite club for disabled children.
Oh, wow.
So I actually work with like disabled children with autism and things like that.
I actually don't know anyone in person that has autism.
I think it affects people through communication mostly. People that I've met, they have a hard time communicating what their needs are and how they can be heard, because language can be a barrier sometimes. They can get overstimulated by things that you and I wouldn't really be stimulated by. So that again is being aware of how your actions towards that person can affect them. You would think it's just a normal thing to do, but to them, like touch and things like that, you'd have to be very careful of what you're doing with them. I think it depends, like they're on the spectrum at different levels, so some have it quite mild. Like my ex-boyfriend, it was just like communication wasn't really his forte, change wasn't really his forte, but then...
I'm not really sure about how like autism affects people. I haven't really done much like research or looked much into it. I don't know too much. I mean, it's quite an interesting subject to look at. However, I just haven't really looked into it.
I think from what I've seen, I think it affects people by like their speech or their movements. I think
it affects them with like the communication and just the way they are, basically.
Sometimes they can't express their emotions properly.
I think it can have a big influence on people's lives. Obviously, there's a spectrum of it, so it can be more severe for some people. But you know, I think it's important to remember that it's not like they can't do some things. Sometimes they just have to do things differently.
No, definitely not. Not a show, nothing. I think is just a drop in the water what is being done for people with autism. I think a lot of people with autism tend to be pushed aside outside of society. They're left to their families to deal with. We marginalise people with autism. I think it's a societal thing. When we don't understand something, we fear it. So we just sort of leave people to it. And we're not doing enough. Schools are not doing enough for people with autism. They tend to get taken off to different schools, special schools, where they don't really experience life as it is. They tend to get sort of cushioned around. And that's not enough. That's not enough for someone who actually wants to experience life. I think it depends. I think there's quite a lot done as far as segregating people on the spectrum as far as should they be in mainstream education, not in mainstream education. But like with my family and friends, I've seen how the parents have struggled to communicate, especially if they've been split up. Also, as far as if they are in mainstream education, there's probably less support than if they were not in mainstream education.
I think in different counties, autism is dealt with differently. So for my stepbrother, sometimes there was quite enough to be done, and then other times there wasn't. Like obviously his parents are split up as well, so there wasn't enough between both families.
In terms of if there is enough being done, well, I mean, I personally would say no, there's not enough awareness, because I mean, from a personal perspective, I don't know much about autism. I don't know how it affects people, what it does to their daily lives, and no, I don't think there is, to be honest.
I'm not sure what's being done, so I can't actually say with confidence that there's enough being done.
Not really, because I've not really seen any evidence about it, so I'm not too sure who's affected by it. So I think more can be done to make people a bit more aware.
I actually don't know a lot about what's being done at the moment, but I'd venture to guess that you could probably always do more, because they do need a lot of support.
I think it could be improved just by more awareness, so just people talking about it more, being more open, not being seen as like a disability, being seen as like sort of educational needs, and like so putting more support workers in with families, in the individuals with autism in their natural being, so that they can really fully understand, rather than in like a school environment where they might naturally not act how they naturally would act at home. Integration. I think we need a lot more integration, universities, giving people the chance to actually do things, because a lot of people with autism are actually very, very, very talented. doing?
I mean, I think there are several ways in which it could be improved. Firstly, like more like awareness around charities. I think there could be ways in which it could, like just posters, advertisement in the media, social media, just like to give people more of an idea of what autism is and how it affects people daily.
More awareness for autism, I guess. Like that's how it can be improved.
More funding for clubs like the one I used to work with, because they really struggled because they had to rent out the hall and have all the games and things, but there was nothing there for them, like fundraising wise, so they had to get all the money themselves.
Colours would be great. If there was a way that we could integrate sensory things in there, like vibrations as well, when they do something and they win something, that would be really good. And also I think it would help to encourage their language more, because people with autism don't lack the capacity to learn language. It's just that they process it in a different way. So I think maybe if we start, like I talk to my little friend, I talk to her like any other person.
I think it really depends on where the individual sits on the spectrum. So for people with more mild issues, then yeah, it probably will be beneficial, because it can have tips and ways to calm themselves down, and there could be like a parent portal on the app where it's specific for parents and information for parents, phone numbers that they can ring. I think for children with more severe autism, it might not be necessarily beneficial to them themselves, but however for their parents it could also be beneficial.
I think an app would be very beneficial. I think it would be very useful, like just again to make people like myself who don't know much about autism to be aware about what it is, and again like how it affects people on a daily basis, and like how we can like support it and support like people that do have it.
Oh, an app like that would definitely be beneficial because it can help them communicate more. I guess so. So yeah.
People with autism sometimes can communicate a bit differently, and they might pick up an app quicker than they might pick up another learning tool. So if it helped them out, then I think it could be successful.
Yeah. They all had like their iPads because they felt like they could communicate through like pictures and words and things.